everyone, and good morning. Happy Friday. As you guys know, I'm Courtney, and I'm a local realtor here in San Diego County, and I'm really excited to be here sharing the Raise Your Real Estate IQ. And my next guest is an awesome connection I have, and I'm so excited to introduce you guys to him. Dana Logsdon with Logsdon Roofing. And even though it is bright and sunny and blue outside right now, this is somebody that you want to know. And we're going to talk about tips to extend the life of your roof, which can help save thousands of dollars. We're going to talk about what to do when you notice a leak, and then we're going to give some tips on what buyers should be aware of when they are in escrow to help avoid huge costly oversights. So with that being said, good morning, Dana. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yay. Awesome. So let's see. The first thing we're going to talk about is tips to extend the life of your roof. So what do you think? What should we be doing if we are a homeowner and, you know, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, but what's the best thing for a homeowner to consider to help with extending the life?
Well, there's a few just very inexpensive minor things that you can do that will drastically improve the longevity of the roofing system. Mm-hmm. Exactly what you said. A lot of people have two-story houses. They don't see their roof. They don't think about it until it leaks. Well, once it leaks, your minor maintenance issue becomes a major repair cost. And so just having your roof looked out, if you have a tile roof, you should have it looked at every 2 to 3 years to ensure there's no broken tile, that the penetrations are sealed, that the flashing at the chimney skylights are all properly installed. Mm-hmm. We've heard for years, I don't want skylights, they leak. Well, they don't leak if they're properly flashed. And so just a little minor maintenance, having us come out and do a $150 inspection, which would be credited towards any roof work needed, is very inexpensive insurance. We always suggest that our clients have the roof checked out in August or September. Every other year, every 3 or 4 years, depending on what type of roof you have. Mm-hmm. And you just go from a very minor maintenance issue, very inexpensive. You save a lot of money from interior damage, from leaks where you have significant damage to the sheeting, to the roof. So just a little maintenance can add 5 to 10 years on most roofing systems.
That's great. And while we were chatting before, kind of in preparation, we were thinking about, well, some people don't realize how to, how to know what type of roof they have. So we were going to share real quick a part here of a picture showing the different kinds of roofs so that, you know, you can kind of know. And if you could give us a guide again on what each one, how often they should have it checked. And if they've never had it checked, well, then obviously it's due. But let's start on the left side here. We've got the metal roof.
Yeah, standing seam metal, real popular in areas where they get snow. We don't get a lot of snow in San Diego, so we don't see that many standing seam roofs. It's a great roofing system. It's just expensive. The standing seam metal panels have Kynar paint, so it's the same paint that you use on your automobiles. It holds up very well. Not a lot of maintenance on these roofs, so these are almost maintenance free. You just have to check the penetrations. Other than that, when they're properly installed, that roof really, nothing is going to go wrong with it for 40, 50 years. The middle picture is a concrete tile roof. There's clay and concrete tiles. Those need to be checked out every 2 to 3 years to ensure you don't have broken tiles. If the tiles are broken, you're going to get sun damage on the underlayment, which is the waterproofing. And that's going to shorten the longevity of the roofing system or cause an immediate leak. So you want to make sure on tile roofs, you check them out every 2 to 3 years. The one on the far right is a laminated shingle roof. You know, a couple different names we call this: dimensional shingles, laminated shingles. Those about every 5 years, you should check the penetrations, the flashing. They're almost maintenance free, but it's a good idea to just make sure not only that the roofs don't have any issues, but the gutters are clean of debris, the gutters are free flowing. So just some minor, you know, investigation into these roofing systems, you know, every 3 to 5 years really can save you a lot of money down the road.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you for clarifying that. So, and from a common standpoint around here, we've got the tile roofs and then the comp shingle. you were saying the tile roofs are going to last for about how long?
Well, if it's got a single layer of underlayment, it's considered to be a 30 to 40-year roofing system. Okay. When properly installed and maintained. So it's a 30-year roof. If you put the roof on with a single layer, do nothing over 30 years. Mm-hmm. If you just do some minor maintenance over the 30 years, mm-hmm. you're going to get a 40-year roof out of that. Sometimes even longer, depending on the underlayment that they use, the quality of it. Even though it's a single layer, there are different qualities of the underlayment. Most roofing companies, ourselves included, do 2 layers of underlayment. We always have. That gives you a 40 to 50-year roofing system with a tile, assuming that all the flashing penetrations are all done right. And again, just minor maintenance adds that extra 10 years to the roofing system. You get a lot of value just having maintenance done, make sure there's no broken tiles, make sure you maintain your roof.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then for a tile roof, I obviously the pitch of it, the size of it, et cetera, is going to make a big difference in cost. But do you have like a ballpark just to understand if we don't extend and we don't put our time into making sure that we are caring for the roof, like what's the potential cost?
Well, an average tile roof is over $20,000 now mm-hmm. to remove the existing tile and install a new tile. Mm-hmm. So if you could get another 10 years of longevity out of a roofing system for a few $100 or, a few $100 every 5 years, it makes all the sense in the world, especially with as much as Californians move around. We're not Californians, we don't really buy a house and live there for life. It's not what we do. We buy a house and then we move every 5 to 6 years. Mm-hmm. So just doing that minor maintenance, when you go into your sales transaction, you don't have buyers asking you for a brand new roof because you've taken care of the roof as you go. So you just need some minor stuff and you're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. And then with the comp shingle, that's a little different with the timeline and also with the cost, right?
Comp shingles, we can get up to a 50-year warranty on a comp shingle roof now. They're really made well. They've improved the asphalt. They've improved the matting, the way they make the shingles. Comp shingles have a little less maintenance that's needed because, you can't break a comp shingle. Mm-hmm. Once they're installed, you're okay. It's really just about sealing the pipes, making sure the flashings are all done right, and that we have no fasteners in water flow channels. Comp shingles are a great option, especially if we're doing solar with the roofing. So you don't have an issue of tiles getting broken. Aesthetically, most people would prefer tile. That's really the appeal of tile, is the aesthetics. But shingles are a good alternative depending on what neighborhood you're in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So basically on this one, the biggest tip is to be aware of what's going on with your roof. And the best way to do that is to have a licensed roofer come out. Ideally you, I think you've done a great job with helping our clients. And if any one of our clients are watching here, they probably have at least seen your reports, maybe not met you, but seen your reports. But just having somebody to come out you said 3 to 5 years or so to check out.
Roof every 2 to 3 years, and on a shingle roof every 5 years. Flat roofs, same thing. A flat roof really every 3 to 5 years, depending on how old the roof is. When the roofs are newer, obviously you don't need as much attention. But once a roof hits about 20 years, you really need to make sure that you're being proactive on a tile roof and just taking care of some really minor issues that can extend the longevity significantly.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And $100, $150 you said, right? This is
to do a homeowner inspection. We charge $150. The $150 is credited towards any repairs that need to be done. Mm-hmm. So if nothing needs to be done, great. For $150, you have assurance that your roof is in good shape and you're going to get, additional longevity. But if you do need some minor repairs, which most roofs need something, that $150 is credited towards any repairs that need to be done for homeowners. Real estate inspections are a little bit different. We don't credit back real estate inspections. They're more thorough, more detailed, because buyers need to know every little detail about what's going on. Mm-hmm. But for a real estate transaction, it's really cheap insurance to know what you're buying. You wouldn't buy a used car and not have your mechanic look at it. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing kind of with the roof, that you really need to have the roof examined. Home inspectors do a phenomenal job. We have a lot of partners with home inspectors, and quite a few of the home inspectors actually call us out to investigate the roof, just because it's such an important component of the house.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Great. Well, thank you for that. That's a great tip. And what I'll do is I'm going to post your phone number down in the comments so that you can, so if anyone's watching, they're like, oh my gosh, I've never had anyone look at my roof since I purchased my home. Like, I probably need this. It's better to do it when it's not raining. And like you're saying, August is a really good time of the year because it's usually a little less crazy. But if you're ready and you're interested in doing that right now, well, I'll put the info down there so you can call Dana direct and chat with him about your options. So, okay, the next question and topic that we're going to talk about is what to do if you notice a leak. And I've had clients call me with leaks and they're like, what do I do? Just put a bucket there? It's like, what's the option? I mean, obviously I need a roofer, but like, what do I do? So I thought it'd be great to have your opinion and kind of insight in what to do if you notice a leak to help prevent things from getting even worse. Because the last thing we want is to have a leak and then that to turn into mold and get bigger and bigger and bigger and more costly. Because, you know, you can just try to ignore it, but it won't go away, unfortunately.
No, it tends to get significantly worse. You know, once you have a leak, water has a trail that can find its way through. First thing you want to do is obviously mitigate the damage. So if it's leaking heavily and pouring through, put something underneath it, you know, call a roofer right away. Get them out there. They can tarp the roof if it's a major leak. Most insurance companies are going to cover the cost of tarping. And then you just got to be proactive. What we see a lot of is people get a small leak. They notice it and go, well, I'm not going to call the roofer when it's raining. I'll call them next week. And then it stops raining. They forget about the leak. And then next time it rains, the leak is bigger. There's more damage. The issue magnifies. So definitely just be proactive. If you have a leak, call a roofer on a rainy day. You may not want to pay to have emergency repairs done that day. Maybe the leak's not quite that bad, but you definitely want to get on our list. You know, on a big rainy day, we'll get 200 to 300 phone calls a day. And so you really need to get in line when you have a leak and be proactive about resolving that issue so you can possibly repair the roof rather than looking at a whole replacement at that time.
And you mentioned something a moment ago that just kind of sparked an idea. You mentioned insurance, and while they may be willing to contribute towards small things, possibly, a re-roof isn't something that the insurance is going to pay for around here. Like
Very rarely.
A hailstorm, maybe, I suppose, right?
We don't get a lot of those.
We don't get a lot of those. So in our area, the roof is really going to be a burden of responsibility that's going to fall on the homeowner. It's not going to be like, great, well, whatever, I didn't maintain my roof, but my insurance company's going to pay for it. What am I going to have to do? $500 for my deductible? It's like, no, that's 20 grand that's 20 grand that you owe. So it's just important to kind of mention that we don't want to allow this to get bigger. And I would say too, that if you ignored the leak and then it became mold, I literally saw this in a house that I was in escrow on in Escondido, and it was so sad. It was this older couple living at the house. They kind of just ignored this roof leak that had happened, and they thought that they fixed it eventually, but there was staining in this closet. So we went to go ahead and, you know, we looked at the roof. Yes, the roof had been repaired eventually, but the water damage had come through, and they were like, oh, well, I fixed the roof, so whatever, we're fine. Well, no, there was mold now. There was mold in this room that this lady sits in half the day. And I was just thinking what that could have done. I mean, it's hard to know what the health issues are going to be for that particular person, but yeah, there's mold. So now they had to tear out that whole thing. If it was dealt with immediately, it would have been a whole different story. But now it's a seller paid expense to redo this whole closet with a mold remediation. And it wasn't easy. So jumping right on it is huge. I think that's the key. What do you do? Jump right on it, call right away. Don't wait to make a phone call.
Well, we'd also caution you, though, use a licensed roofing contractor. We see this a lot where we have somebody call us up. Oh, I had a leak and I had my handyman get up there and they pour tar over the area. And now you go from, oh, we could have just easily fixed that, to now we have to replace this side of the roof, or we have to extend the repair area because what they did actually made the conditions worse. So make sure that you are using a licensed roofing contractor. I do so many inspections that I go out and, oh, the roof was just done a year ago, and it's heartbreaking. It's disheartening to tell the people, okay, you bought $10,000 worth of roofing material that needs to go in the trash because the roof is installed improperly. And we see more of this than we should, where people were just trying to save $1,000, but you hire somebody who wasn't licensed. There's no insurance. There's nobody to go after. You can't file a complaint with a licensing board. There's just, you're at the mercy of somebody. It blows my mind that somebody would give somebody $10,000 to do a roof that there's no warranty, there's no protection for the homeowner. So just make sure they are licensed. It's easy to check. You can go to cslb.ca.gov, check any license number, any business. Some guys will say, oh yeah, I'm licensed. And then we look, nope, they're not licensed. So just check
they
that.
They know someone who's licensed. That's happened to us personally multiple times, because my husband's a contractor. And so we know about this, but the average person doesn't. But they're like, yeah, I'm licensed. Yeah. And I'm like, great, where's your license number? Because it's not on their business card or on their quotes. And I'm like, well, it's supposed to be there. So what is it?
That's a good point. You can't have your company name anywhere. I can't have any company name on any truck, coffee cup, document without my license number clearly stated on that document. It's required from the Contracts Licensing Board. So it should be very transparent.
Yep. And so, but we had to pull it out of this guy, and it was come to find, there was a license, and then you can look and see who is like under the license on there, and that guy's name wasn't there. So I called that person. I said, hey, I just want to check in. So and so is saying that that they're licensed, but I'm seeing your name pop up. And he's like, oh, I know so and so. And I'm like, okay, does he work with you? He's like, no. And then it comes down to, oh yeah, he was just trying to say that he uses this guy, and they were going to do the work under this other person's license, who wasn't even going to be overseeing the project, which is the whole point of the licensing.
Right. So, well, but if you get licensed, there's just so many avenues you have at that point as a consumer to be protected. The licensing board is very strict. And as a licensed contractor, if you don't follow what they deem as correct, they'll take your license, and that's your livelihood. So it's just a whole nother, it's just, you're protected by using a licensed contractor. And it's nothing worse for us than to go out and write an inspection and go, yep, you need a brand new roof, even though your roof's 1 year old. And, we've had this conversation, there's nothing wrong with the material. It's just installed wrong. Yeah. And, of course, the sellers will say, well, it's not leaking. That's not the point of a roof inspection, whether or not it's leaking. It's, manufacturers all have a longevity expectation of their product when properly installed. And when it's not properly installed, there's really no longevity expectation.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, kind of scary, but I've seen it before too, and you just gotta avoid that. So licensed contractor, licensed roofers, it's super important. Okay, last thing we're going to talk about, which kind of relates, tips for buyers to help avoid costly surprises and protect themselves when buying. And I think at this point, we could probably honestly say it makes sense based on our conversation so far, have a roofer out if there's any concerns at all about the roof, anything. Have somebody come out and take a look at it who knows what they're looking at. They're actually going to get on the roof and do a deep dive, and that can obviously save what we were talking about, a surprise of up to $20,000 of, oh, by the way, there's no leaks, but you do need a new roof. And it's important not to have those surprises in escrow. While we can predict a lot of things, there's some things we can't, but let's avoid those surprises. So what are some tips you would say that buyers could take as they're looking into purchasing a home?
Well, again, a lot of the home inspectors that we deal with, these guys are phenomenal. They know so much about general construction, but they can't spend enough time on every single item, electrical, plumbing, structural, drywall, paint. They just don't have enough time to get up on the roof and look at all the components of a roofing system. A lot of home inspectors now are going to tell you really need to have a roof inspection. It's cheap insurance. We've done 4 roofs over the last month where the people bought the house this year with the heavy rains, they got leaks, and we went out and looked at it and said, oh no, you need a roof. And all of the response was, well, the home inspector didn't say anything. And we looked at the report and it says, write the report. You really need to contact a licensed roofer and do a roof inspection. And we used to tell people, hey, if the house is more than 15 years old, you really got to have an inspection. But we've kind of changed that. We're like, any house, because even if the house was just built, there could be 5 or 6 broken tile on the roof. And those broken tile take you from a 50-year roof to a 30 or 40-year roof. They drastically take the longevity off the roofing system. Also, a lot of 2-story houses, the upper roof drains onto the lower roof. Just adding gutters, where a lot of people think, well, you don't need gutters with the roof, upper roof pours onto the lower roof and then it'll drop into the lower gutter. But that falling water is very damaging to the lower roof. So even on a new house, critiquing the roofing system and getting an inspection. It's really inexpensive insurance to make sure that what you're buying is what you're expecting. And the only time you have negotiating power with your agents, and we talk to people all the time, you know, have your agent review the report, and they're the expert in the real estate field. I don't know what a house is worth. I don't know what they've sold for in the neighborhood. That's why they need a professional real estate agent to advise them in this manner. So they take, like you, take my report, and then you negotiate. Well, this roof needs $5,000 worth of work. The buyer, you have to come to the table. Once they have the report, the seller, once they have the report, the seller have to disclose that report. So it's not as if the seller's going to go, nope, we don't want to fix those. We'll wait for another buyer. Well, now when the next buyer comes in, they have to disclose the report that we have written. When we write reports, we're not there to scare anybody. We just want to let you know what to expect. And here is what you're buying.
Yeah, that's the most important thing is I never try to hide things, and I love that everyone that I work with is kind of on the same page. I'm never trying to overdo it or underdo it. I just want people to know. And a lot of realtors are known for kind of minimizing issues where we're not qualified to tell you if it's a big deal or not. But we could say if we see it commonly, I suppose. But the idea is like, I'm never like, oh, whatever, there's a stain, no big deal. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a stain. Now let's go look into it. Like, I don't want to stain at my house, so I don't want to stain in your house. So let's go look at what this unknown stain is and figure it out. And that's one thing I love is that we've got great resources that we work with, like companies like you, Dana, that are just like honest and on it and just gonna, you know, be real, but not overplay it, not underplay it. Just kind of shoot from the hip, tell you how it is. So it's important to have someone like you on our team. So I'm really grateful.
Well, you take all the liability of buying a house and you put it onto the contractor that did the inspection. You know, if we miss something that is visually obvious, we're responsible for it. So now if it happens, and I can't recall that we've missed anything in an inspection, the inspections are unbelievably thorough, but now we're responsible that what we stated in the inspection is correct. And it really gives people a peace of mind, especially with a roof, which is a big ticket item. It just takes that pressure off, and now they can worry about buying blinds and furniture.
Yeah, not worrying about the structure of the house.
Which again, that's the only time we can negotiate is before before you finish the purchase. Once you own the house and it leaks, you're paying $500-600 minimum to fix a roof leak when you could have gotten an inspection for $250, and the seller's going to pay for these repairs.
Yeah, and one other thing to mention really quick before we wrap up is there's something called a roof certification. And so that might be another avenue. I'm not sure if it's too common that you see it, but I just want to put out there that there's something called a roof certification where it could also be that when you come out and you say, you know what, this looks good. Well, there could be a peace of mind put into place for a certain number of years that, hey, this thing is going to be good for at least this number of years. It's like a little insurance policy that can be on there that you don't have to worry about it for a number of years. And that could be another avenue that people could take when they're buying if they want. And I know we can get into that a lot more later if someone's interested, but I just kind of wanted to float that out there as an idea of getting a roof cert. And this is something a seller may be interested in doing too. So it can help limit the liability of having somebody come in, because there's plenty of roofers that will walk in off the street and be like, oh yeah, this needs a new roof. Like, of course they're going to say that because they want the money. So it's nice to have, you know, somebody who's skilled, knowledgeable, and able to certify.
Well, what a roof cert is, and a lot of people don't understand. A roof cert is a warranty. So if we cert a roof, that means any water intrusion you get over the living structure for the length of the cert, we have to come fix the roof at no cost to the homeowner. It doesn't cover any interior damage from a roof leak, but it does give you the assurance that if I have a leak in the next year, 2, 3 years, I have an insurance policy on the roof, so the roofer's not going to charge me for the repairs.
Yeah. So another little thing that people don't know exists, but that could be great for some peace of mind, both on the buyer side and on the seller side. So, well, this has been great. Thank you so much again, Dana, for just giving us some insights on, you know, how to extend the life of your roof with just making sure you have somebody come out. It's kind of like regular termite. Just have someone come out. It's really a lot less expensive to have it maintained than the big old surprise later. And then if you notice a leak, just being super proactive. Don't wait, because you were even telling me before we got on the call, a lot of times people say, oh yeah, I'll do it, and then they forget, and then it happens again, and then it's just like, oh my gosh, just like salt in the wound. So it's like, just jump right on it, call someone. And again, for anyone listening, you can save the number. I'm going to put Dana's number in the comments below. And then the last part is, you know, just to avoid costly mistakes, just being proactive while you're in escrow, rather than being like, oh, I'll just deal with it later, I'll check it out later, because it could be up to a $20,000 expense. That's a big old surprise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Buying a house is expensive enough as it is. We don't want to add to it. So there we go. I think that's everything. So as you guys know too, if there's ever anyone I can anything that I can do to help either you or someone you know as it relates to real estate, I'd be so happy to be a resource. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them below and we will get back in touch with you with some answers. So until next time, have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.
Have a great day. Thanks, Carol.
I am so glad that you watched all the way to this point in the video, because I'm happy to help raise your real estate IQ. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I wanted to take a moment to invite you to check out the description below for helpful resources and to download a guide that can include things like tips and checklists to make planning for your move even easier. It's honestly never too early to get started. If you like this video, please be sure to hit subscribe and turn on the bell so that you can get notified when we share new real estate videos each Thursday. You'll also want to check out the thumbnails that are about to pop up on the screen for other videos that we've custom made for you on this channel. And as always, this info is for people everywhere, but if you're looking to make a move to the San Diego area, I'd be happy to be a resource. You'll find my contact info in the description below. So have a great day, and I hope that you love where you live. See you guys in the next video.